I am here this morning with Dan Esfandiari. He is a senior associate in sustainability and building physics for Greystone. Morning, Dan.
Morning, Jade. How are you? Okay?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Monday morning again. It's all
Monday
good.
morning again. Comes around quick.
Absolutely.
So thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to meet with me today. What we are here for is we're just going to highlight some of the positives about working for Greystone and how successful you can make your recruitment career by working for Greystone. So for those who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, how long have you've been with the company and so on.
Been with Greystone now just over 3 years, probably more 3.5 years. My background's always been in traditional recruitment or sort of sales, cold sales, sort of generation of business essentially for wherever I've been. I've always really enjoyed the proactive nature of meeting new people, letting people know about a product or a service offering that essentially can add value. I think that's what I've always liked doing. I've liked to I suppose let people know about something that can make their life easier. Whatever field of work you're in, I'm sure everyone wants ease in their own job or specialists to help them with things. So yeah, obviously now is no different really at Greystone.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned there about adding value. What is it that made you left traditional recruitment? How do you feel that you're adding more value working for Greystone?
I think for sure, traditional recruitment, volume-based, vacancy-led recruitment has its place and has allowed many people to become very successful in that field. But for me, it was almost quite a hollow career in some ways because there wasn't enough space in the process. It was very fast-paced. You couldn't really build relationships for the long term. So it was all about here and now. Let's get a fee. Let's move on to sort of the next thing. That was my experience, and I suppose pulling yourself back into what we actually do. Yes, recruitment's seen as the speedy process to move people around the market, but actually, when you think about it, and I've said many times on my LinkedIn and posts and videos before that we actually do have a lot of responsibility in what we do. It's a significant part of people's lives. A career move. It's it's the core of people's lives. It's their livelihood. It's their well-being. It's their split between family time and career. So I think that really needs attention. And coming out of the standard recruitment methodology, going into Greystone, where it's very much focused on quality rather than quantity. It's definitely suit me more as a person as well as enjoying the way that we work. And I think from a client perspective as well, to be honest, they expect a good service. They know that they need specialists in the recruitment field. It's a whole career on its own. They're line managers and what they do, and they need someone in the market that's a specialist. So I think this particular model and how we work outside of traditional recruitment allows us to vet people properly and stop the sort of irrelevant, maybe not so good quality come through into the inbox and save them from getting peppered really with things that aren't relevant. So.
Okay, so on that then, can you describe your role as it is now and how it fits in with the Greystone model?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, I lead the sustainability and building physics capability, predominantly within building services. That's where we've made our name across MEP sustainability. But as sustainability broadens rapidly, it's naturally led us to move outside of building services into more sort of ESG or more sort of social value type stuff as well. Wider sustainability, sometimes policy type work. Although it's tempting as well because it's moving at such a fast pace and it's progressing so quickly, it is tempting to try and I suppose jump into avenues quickly and trying to man everything. But really, for me and the team, it's a priority to maintain, the top quality service and where we've made our name first of all, and make sure we, service our members correctly, and service our clients correctly in a particular way. So, yeah, it's good. It's an exciting time to be in sustainability. Very exciting. I think from everything that happened last year, obviously it was a terrible time. It was difficult. Hopefully, in 2022, we're not going on about 2 years before. But I think it's been a bit of a blessing in terms of sustainability. I think it's pushed a lot of things forward. It's got a lot of businesses thinking about it earlier than maybe what they would have. Obviously, that creates a lot more traffic in the industry as well. So there's ups and downs to it, but I think it's an exciting time for anyone involved.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'd agree. So what is it for you then, from your perspective, what is it about the Greystone model that works?
Well, as I probably alluded to before, I think the model is quality over quantity. So it means we can really service our candidates 100% and give them our full attention. So of course, we can look at live vacancies for people. We can look at the low-hanging fruit as such in the market that they can find themselves, or that they're probably told about daily, but by sort of other people in the market. But for us, and I think where we excel is the unveiling of the unknown. So that low-hanging fruit really only equates to a quarter of the market, and for us, and what we've done so well in the last 5-6 years is to go, I suppose, behind the scenes, and look at stuff that candidates can't see, that's not visible, maybe they don't have knowledge of, and bring that to the table. And we're experts in what we do across mechanical, electrical, public health, and sustainability. So we've separated all disciplines to make sure we're focusing on each discipline separately. So we're specialists in each. And then we've built strong relationships with businesses at a decision-making level as well. So when we talk about candidates and members that we're working with, it's with individuals in a business that can really understand their value, and regardless of having a live vacancy, most of the time, they're wanting this individual in their business, which I think that's the key about what we do. We go above and beyond. We can do both sides of the coin, essentially. It's not just volume. It's actually, let's step away and let's consult you on your career and see what else we could bring to the table. So it's worked very, very well after the last 5-6 years, definitely.
Yeah. What sort of, how has that been responded to by both candidates and clients?
I think candidates find it very refreshing. Again, there's different types of candidates out there, and there's every phone call. If I have 20 calls in a day, genuinely, they could all be slightly different in some ways. People have got their own drivers, they've got their own background, their own culture from what they come from. But then, just because they've been a building physics engineer for 10 years doesn't mean the move is going to be in building physics. So it's for me to understand their drivers, and it's for me to understand about them. And I think that it's refreshing for a candidate to have questions asked of them, which sounds odd, but it's never a hard sell from me or us. It's I know about these vacancies, but that's null and void until I know about you. That doesn't matter, because they're not going to suit until I know you anyway. So that the key is about knowing them, and I think they like the feeling of knowing they're going to be important in this process. They're not just a bit part of it to make for me to make a fee or replacement. It really is, everything's about them. And they, I'd say, unless they are someone that just wants to move and actually is going to be enticed by a job, which is absolutely fine as well. And the other group of individuals like the more comprehensive service that we give. And client side, I think as well, they've understood over the years that that they're going to get good quality people that are relevant to the business, because we spent so much time vetting on this side. We've also spent a lot of time understanding the business on this side, so we can really merge the two in an efficient way. It's not just mail shots in CVs. It's not just see what sticks type mentality. It really is understanding both parties. So I think clients have also they've really appreciated their inbox not being filled up with just hopefuls basically from our end. So no, I think it's worked really well both sides, and it's been quite refreshing for both sides as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. So from your perspective, with everything that you've just said, it is a very different model to traditional recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely sound very passionate about it as well, which is refreshing. How would you say it's affected you personally? How has it affected your career?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think being at Greystone has excelled my career just through a couple of avenues. I think it's really given me personally the confidence to push myself and really be the best at what I'm doing. It's not just about turning up, working with a few people, making a few phone calls and clocking off. It's be passionate about what you do, be the best at what you do, and every day bring your A game. And I think for me it's taught me that in my own head, there's almost no days off in a positive way. I think you got to put the work in to push forward, but also I think having the likes of Si and Phil heading the business up, they've got so much passion about where the business is going. You can't help but be bought in and also ride that wave of positivity. So I think leading from the top down, I've certainly jumped on that sort of wave, and the winner's mentality is infectious, and it served me well. I think professionally and personally it's helped me as well, because I've pushed my aspirations to another level, really, being around the people at Greystone. So it's been good.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Can you give me a little bit of an insight into sort of your working day? Because obviously at Greystone for employees, it's a very autonomous model. Tell me about how that works for you.
It's not too dissimilar to maybe others' days, but as you said, full autonomy is given, and full trust, and I think that's massive. That's not always given, especially in a recruitment type role. I think again, the way that we recruit, the way internally, and the people that we bring in are obviously, we're all driven individuals. We all can stand on our own 2 feet and being able to plan our own days. And I think that's, it's almost world is your oyster type mentality when you come into Greystone. We'll give you all the support, we'll give you the base. It's up to you now, and it's great. Really, really enjoy it.
Good. Has the flexibility that you're given affected your success, would you say?
Yeah, massively, because I think you can essentially work in a way that is good for you. If you want to sit on the phone all day, that's fine. If you want to go out and meet clients, go for it. If you want to nip into London or somewhere else and meet candidates for coffees, excellent. I think whatever works for you, and whatever breeds success for you, your discipline, your talent pool. Again, you're given free reign. It's not a KPI driven business where how many calls you made, how many CVs you sent. Obviously, there's an element of being active, obviously, in this industry. I don't think you can hide from that. Of course, you can't sit back and it's not an inbound call sort of industry. But that's the exciting part, obviously, getting out there, being active. But for me, having that freedom to work in a way that I find successful, which maybe someone else doesn't. Again, it's different things for different people, which is again great.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Dan. Okay, so I suppose the only thing left for me to ask you really is, what advice would you give to somebody that is considering joining Greystone?
Maybe a couple of things I've touched on in the conversation already, but I think just really hammer home a couple of points. So I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, coming from a traditional recruitment background, also, site-based sales, cold sales generation, so I've always been sort of sales, I suppose more proactive sales for me. Greystone gives you that freedom to express yourself, not be tied down to, sole KPIs, and I suppose shadowed non-stop. When I say express yourself, it's ideas on how you want to take the business forward, trends that you see in the market, but also creating your own personal brand. I think it's very important, and it's very much pushed in Greystone that yes, we're Greystone and we do everything properly, but also within Greystone, you need to create your own brand, your own face in the market. You need to be your own specialist in what you do. And I think coming from two directors that have, 3 decades of, recruitment pedigree behind them, and hunger and the way that they want to do stuff planned out, I think it's a great place to be. You get all the support, but you also get all the freedom at the same time. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, so basically, I suppose your desk at Greystone is your own little business in a way, isn't it?
Exactly that. And I think that freedom isn't always given. You're very much, you have to say things the way the brand wants to. You have to do things a certain way. But I think when we come into Greystone, there's a huge onboarding process of this is the mentality, this is the culture, and we're all so bought into it that it's natural anyway to work in that way. But as you said, yeah, it is your own brand. I like working on my own brand each day. On LinkedIn, I'll post things and whatever it be, and I've had some good feedback on it, and long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Dan.
No problem at all.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think I've spoken enough today, haven't I? As usual.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Well,
Perfect
thank you very much. Lovely talking to you.
Thanks, Jade.